kind of move where we get a cross-arm wrist grab. We take the hand up like this, clasp our own hand and pull it. Or you might take it that there's two hands on there, and you're going to bring your hand up the middle, keep him locked in and pull it. Then you've got an application and a reason which is tactile, and it involves someone at a realistic kind of distance. And if I had a weapon, I might have a reason for him to grab both of his hands onto my one, because then he'd really want to control that arm. But it's foolish for him to control that arm while I'm slapping him with this one. Okay, so let's not imagine that that hand's that important that it needs two on it. So instead, let's look at a situation where we're in here and he's thrown his big hook, and we've met that, and now I've got to stop him from hitting me again. So if we slide this forwards and use the leverage of it to take his head away, then that's going to help me no end. And if we slide this one in tight, then what I end up with is a side control neck hold. Now that's all good, but he's still able to fight. So what we do is turn our palms over. And now he's not fighting anymore. Instead, he's hanging on to me for dear life. So once we've got that on, I've now got a really strong reason for stepping out into stance and just cranking that. And it might look like a rising elbow, but actually what's happening is he's going over. If I step behind him to do it, then we'd use the hip as the throw. My point without putting the hip in is that you can see the controls just with what you're doing with these hands. Now, if you're a Thai grappler or a Thai fighter, like in Star Wars, then what you have is the big hook, and we're coming to here, and we'll get this on like this, and this looks like an up X block. And so we might be in here kneeing and hitting and doing all this. If you end up grappling like this, then you can't really change your grip, because he pulls loose, nuts you, punches you, whatever else he wants to do. So if you manage to get hold of a head, you keep it. And if you've got the head like this, then you start to guide the man with your elbows. Right? So that's where we've seen that before. And when you get this like this, and you start to move about, instead of trying to do it all with your arm strength, turning your body and just maintaining contact with the elbows can give you an awful lot of leverage. So once again, as we look at kata, what we're seeing is that when we make a shape like this, and there's a hole in the middle, you want to put something in there. And when you see that that hole is affected by the next position, it gets closed up, hasami, scissors, or basami, crab, then you know that you've got in there and you've done some work. Now if the next thing that you do happens to be to step out and do this, then you know that you're going to have an even bigger effect. So applying our little logic system of, does this do something useful for me, I think we can choose that as our application. So once more, just so you can see, the big hook comes in, we meet that, and then it's not just clamp, but as we clamp, I want to shoot that through to get myself a little bit safer. See what I did there? Safer. No, never mind. Not safer. Then from there, as you step, you're going to change that over. And that's really closed him down. And then anything that you do next is going to be useful. So that's the one we'll work on now.